This is the fourth annual African Heritage Month commemoration at the County Council, which we're very pleased to be here and to take part in together. Montgomery County has a deep and rich and vibrant African community, with the African population accounting for over 16% of the overall immigrant population in our community. The council continues its tradition of honoring the incredible contributions of our African immigrant communities, which are vital to the fabric of Montgomery County. We were so proud to be recognized as the very first county in the nation to proclaim the month of September as African Heritage Month. It is a source of pride for all of us here in the county and at the County Council. And this year's celebration is particularly special because just last week, Governor Wes Moore officially proclaimed September as African Heritage Month across the state of Maryland. So we are leading here in Montgomery County, and we are leading in the state of Maryland. Maryland is home to the fourth largest community of African immigrants in the entire country. We are proud to have a governor and a lieutenant governor who share our values and commitment to promoting inclusivity and celebrating the diversity that shapes our country and our state. The theme this year focuses on the champions of tomorrow shaping Montgomery County's future through service, entrepreneurship, and education. We have an outstanding video presentation highlighting the impactful work of some amazing people in our community, including author and community organizer Tamari Shunda, Whetstone Elementary School Principal Loretta Woods, and Penelope and Kwemeno Kujo, who own KP's Jollof Rice. You can view an extended version of today's video highlighting these community leaders on the council's YouTube page. Thank you to Mershai Salou, Joe Thompson, and Mike Spingerth for their work putting this video together and organizing today's celebration. We're very lucky to have an Emmy Award-winning team to be able to celebrate what makes our community so special. It is a source of pride that we have more than 100 languages spoken in Montgomery County. It is part of the strength of what makes us such a vibrant place, and our African community is such an important part of that strength. And with that, it is my pleasure and my honor to be able to turn it over to my friend and colleague who serves here with us, Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Friedson, Council President Friedson. Happy African Heritage Month, everyone. There will be jollof rice later, don't worry. And we're just so happy that you're gathered with us today and took time out of your day in the middle of the day to come and celebrate. And to those watching online, thank you. As was mentioned, fourth year here at the council, many more years here at the county. Always want to thank former County Executive Ike Leggett for putting the advisory committees together. I'm a former African Affairs Advisory Committee member, and which led us to this moment. And thank Governor Wes Moore for doing it early in his term. They had a great celebration, and I know some of our folks from Montgomery County were there. I've proudly shared from this dais and from my first official act of being sworn in 2018 with my colleagues from that class, and my African heritage. I wouldn't be here today if America wasn't welcoming to my father in 1969 when he left Nigeria during the middle of a very bloody civil war where over 1 million people died, most from famine, and was able to study and get a scholarship in this country and settled, like many immigrants do, in the immigrant hub of Langley Park, and which still is a hub for the immigrant communities of all kinds in African and Central and South American immigrants. And that's, when you think about the story of the over 3 million African immigrants who migrated here, all immigrant journeys are different, but they all have that same stream in them of that you came here to get a better life, to flee violence, to get an education, to provide for your family. And that is the story and the tie that connects all Americans together, because no matter how you got here, that was eventually the story. African Heritage Month is doubly important to celebrate because for our African American brothers and sisters, many of whom were brought here unwillingly, they were intentionally denied their culture, right? Intentionally denied their heritage as Africans. It was beat out of them. They weren't allowed to use their language. It was a strategy of bondage, right? And so we celebrate Black history and we celebrate African Heritage Month, and they're combined, but they're also different experiences as well, and they both deserve to have their time and space because of the unique experience that is the Black experience in this country. And I just want to thank my colleagues for always lifting this up the way we do. I think we're one of the few in the state, in the country, that do this way. There's a Nigerian Yoruba proverb that however far a stream flows, it never forgets its origins. And we have brought our traditions, our culture, our food, our music from thousands of miles away. Everyone knows Afrobeats now. And we've made Montgomery County home to a new fusion of all those things. And you'll see some of that today in the video and in the food that we're going to eat. I often remind folks that while Maryland's has the fourth largest population, if you take DC, Maryland, and Virginia, we have the largest number of Africans in the country in the DMV region. We are well represented, and it's a very diverse community. So I want to lift up, again, the video that's to come. I also want to lift up that there is a Nigerian community night at Roundhouse Theater where they're going to have an awesome play called Sojourners, which is produced by Nigerian. And I'll be there Friday night for that night, but it goes through, I think, the end of the beginning of October. Please check it out. It's one of the many examples of the great, vibrant culture we have here. So thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to all of my colleagues and to everyone for joining us.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Let me now turn it over to another friend and colleague who we're privileged to serve with, Councilmember Sales.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here for our fourth annual African Heritage Month Proclamation celebration. Africa is known as the cradle of creativity, a place where imaginative expression began in various forms, such as music, theater, dance, art, and storytelling. It has influenced the art, music, and storytelling in America today. Our nation's fabric is intricately woven with the vibrant and diverse traditions of African heritage. Despite the harrowing era of the transatlantic slave trade, which forced the cargo of 10 to 12 million enslaved Africans to America, African culture has persevered. Today, we are privileged to engage with 45 African cultural institutions and explore over 300 expert curated stories of art, identity, and music. This resilience is a testament to the indelible mark African culture has left on our society. Here in Montgomery County, the African Affairs Advisory Group, the Montgomery Black Collective, and the African American Health Program are essential in connecting our African residents with our county government. These organizations are vital for advancing and empowering the county's African diaspora through essential programs and initiatives. As the first Black woman of Jamaican heritage elected countywide to the council member at large position, I'm deeply honored to continue advocating for issues crucial to our county's diverse population. Standing alongside my colleague, Councilmember Will Jawando, as a representation of the sacrifices of our ancestors is a privilege that I hold close to my heart. I want to express my gratitude to President Friedson and the rest of my council colleagues for their unwavering support in our fight for equality. During African Heritage Month, we reaffirm our commitment to collaborating with African leaders and organizations across our county and beyond, pledging to ensure they have the necessary resources for their well-being and advancement. And I believe we're going to watch a show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I just want to acknowledge as well, it was an honor to join the county executive and Councilmember Jawando to present a proclamation to our African Affairs Advisory Group in White Oak. So really appreciate that in East County. And Councilmember Sales and Council Vice President Stewart and the county executive and I were able to join the Ethio-American Chamber for the Business and Industry Expo in downtown Silver Spring, as well as Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez and other colleagues as well. So lots are happening this month. This is one of many celebrations to demonstrate the strength of the community, and we appreciate both the executive branch and the county council and all of us and so many in our community who are taking time to make space and make time and to uplift this community. Before we turn it to the PIO team to show the video, let me turn it back to Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge I saw Dr. Antoine Brown from the Governor's Office of African Affairs joined us, Governor Moore.
Oh, very good.
And I think we also have other representatives from the Commission on the Government of African Affairs. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
So we have federal, state, and county representation here, executive branch and council. We're all in this together, and we're all here to uplift the strength of our African community. With that, let me turn it over to our terrific PIO team for us to watch this video presentation.
Montgomery County is a diverse, thriving community enriched by the vibrant cultures of its residents. This African Heritage Month, we celebrate the remarkable contributions of African community members who are shaping the county's future through service, entrepreneurship, and education.
African Heritage Month is not just a celebration of the past, but a living testament to a brighter future. Tamari Shunda has dedicated her life to service to see through that bright future for the next generation.
I started looking that there's no language which represents people of color. If you look at all the languages, either our children study in schools or anything else, there's no one which can say to us, the background is people of color. I wrote a book, and then people who bought the first book, I said, I want to learn more.
After publishing her second book, the interest in the community grew louder. Her readers started asking for live classes to learn the language directly from her.
When I realized there are a number of people who were coming to ask for more, then I said, why don't we start a foundation where we can reach people? That was the beginning of Strong Tower. Sasa nataka kuhesabu.
When Tamari started teaching, her passion for advocating for the Swahili language grew even stronger.
If we don't teach our children the language which really means a lot to them, I think we're not being fair.
As an author, teacher, and community organizer, Tamari Shunda is actively shaping the future of her community. Entrepreneurship is another pillar of Montgomery County's vibrant African community. I had the unique pleasure of joining Kwamina and Penelope Cujo, the passionate founders of KP's Jollof Rice, in their home. Their mission is clear: to make this beloved West African dish accessible to everyone.
When we started our this jollof rice, when we go to the stores, 7 years ago, people didn't know what jollof rice was. They say, what is the name? Jaw is this, can you then come now? We tell them rice from Senegambia. Then we have to give them a whole story about jollof, how we migrated from there to West Africa, and then, so it's like you're in school with jollof.
A few years ago, jollof rice was relatively unknown to many. Its popularity has significantly increased over the years. Kwamina and Penelope invited me into their kitchen to share the secrets of making jollof rice the easy way. As we cooked, Kwamina shared the fascinating history behind jollof rice. And KP's jollof rice honors these traditions while making the recipe approachable for modern cooking.
The jollof rice that connect with the people, making it as popular as you can get a hamburger anywhere else. Anybody can cook a hamburger. So why can't anybody cook jollof rice?
We're bridging gaps with our food.
Their dedication to spreading the love for jollof rice is inspiring.
It's really good.
KP's jollof rice is not just about food. It's an experience that brings people together, sharing the rich African cultural heritage. African educators and advocates in Montgomery County are making significant strides in ensuring quality education for all. Ghanaian-born Principal Loretta Woods of Whetstone Elementary is one of those educators making a difference.
Growing up, education was always a big focus for my parents. They pushed education, they pushed community, and they pushed a lot of grit. I've always loved kids. I've always appreciated their innocence. And I used to teach, the baby dolls at my house and the stuffed animals. And so it was destined for me to be a teacher.
A graduate of Paint Branch High School, Loretta started out as a 4th grade teacher, then worked as a staff development teacher, then served as an assistant principal before eventually becoming a principal at Whetstone Elementary.
And I love every part of it. My job is to make sure teachers are teaching and students are learning. Education means a lot to me. I had wonderful teachers, and that's pretty much how I got here, through a lot of support.
A support system she now works hard to offer the students that come through the doors at Whetstone. For her leadership, Loretta won the Mark Mann Excellence and Harmony Award a few years ago.
It meant so much to me to be recognized for the work that I love, because I believe every student has a light in them, and I think it's our job as educators to bring that light forward. Welcome to 1st grade! You look so beautiful!
Pouring love and support into the same system that raised her, one student at a time. As we celebrate African Heritage Month, we honor these champions of tomorrow.
Well, thank you to Mershai, Joe, and Mike for the amazing work. This is a terrific celebration of the incredible community that we're so lucky to have here in Montgomery County, who made a choice to call Montgomery County home. And it is a choice that we are proud of and that we are grateful for. I did want to acknowledge Delegate Bernice Marenco North, who has joined us. Thank you for coming and joining us. And now, before we call up our guests to take a picture together to formally present this proclamation, we're going to read the proclamation up here from the dais. And we're going to have all colleagues join in this important commemoration. Whereas September is African Heritage Month, which recognizes and celebrates African achievement and educates community members about the many cultures across the African diaspora. And
whereas Montgomery County is the first county in the nation to proclaim the month of September as African Heritage Month. And
whereas the African culture and identity is vast and diverse, and through everyday intercultural exchanges, African immigrants share their languages, rituals, food, dance, art, literature, and more with communities across the nation.
And whereas the United States is home to approximately 3 million African immigrants, representing 54 different countries, each contributing to the rich tapestry of our nation. And
whereas Montgomery County is proud to be home to a significant African population, which makes up over 16% of our diverse immigrant community. And
whereas we recognize African community members for their ongoing achievements and their contributions to our county's diversity with their traditions, values, and history. And
Whereas the Montgomery County Council's 4th annual African Heritage Month commemoration theme is Champions of Tomorrow, Shaping Montgomery County's Future Through Service, Entrepreneurship, and Education. And
whereas this year's commemoration highlights the remarkable contributions of African individuals, businesses, and organizations within our county who exemplify leadership and innovation by inspiring future generations to build a vibrant and inclusive community. And
whereas African changemakers in Montgomery County and across the nation prove that heritage and identity can thrive in every corner of the world. And
whereas during this African Heritage Month, we celebrate the diversity of culture and traditions across the continent of Africa, but we learn about our shared history and what connects us globally. And
whereas we recognize the rich mosaic that is celebrated during African Heritage Month as a way of preserving the past, linking to the present, and educating future generations.
Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby proclaims September as African Heritage Month, presented on this 17th day of September in the year 2024, signed by William Opeyemi Jawando, Lorianne Sales, and myself, Andrew Friedson, as Council President on behalf of the entire County Council. Happy African Heritage Month. Now, the only thing standing between us and jollof rice on the 4th floor. We're going to invite all of our invited guests to please join us here in front of the dais, and we're going to take a picture together to commemorate this special occasion. And then we are going to join together for a special commemorative lunch on the 4th floor.